What's up, guys? It's episode 382. Welcome back to the show.
I don't ever slow up, no, I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no, I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Hey, what's up? It's Jacqueline. Welcome back to the show. It's been a while. I think I took a month off there. Yeah, a good month. So hi, welcome back to the show. I've missed this. Now that I'm a wife, we're going to do things a little different around here. Okay. Hi, I'm a wife. Do you guys want to, if you didn't know, I got married last weekend. I took a month off before the wedding to focus on the wedding and focus on being a bride and not, I totally said, fuck the podcast because I just needed to put a reset button on the show and reimagine the show now that I'm a wife. We're going to do things completely different now. I am no longer the same person I was before I got married last weekend. I am now a wife. I have a whole new personality. I have a whole new, if you're on video, I've changed my location. I'm wearing knee-high boots. I'm kidding. Guys, nothing has changed. Let's be honest. Nothing has changed. Yes, I am a wife. Yes, I am a wife. Do you guys want to spiral with me about this right now? I'm sorry. It's just so funny to hear that out loud. Not only saying it out loud myself, but hearing Corey introduce me as, hi, this is my wife. It's such a, I'm still on a high. People say oh, after your wedding, you're going to have this depression and this post-wedding blues. And I'm like, no, I'm just first of all, I miss our wedding. I miss it. It's such a weird feeling. I'm it happened and yes, it was fast and everyone says that it goes by so fast, but I'm longing for our wedding. So, guys, nothing has changed. Okay. Same show, same me. But I have been doing a little bit of, reimagining, rethinking about how I want to move forward and start this new chapter of my life on the show. It's really mostly about the content and what I talk about because, and I'm going to go into this whole premise later after obviously I recap the wedding and I talk about what it's like to be a wife, the second week of being a wife, how things are going so far, what I've been up to. I'm going to break down all the things, wedding, wife life so far, and just kind of bring you up to speed about where I've been, what I've been doing. But I'm going to go down this whole rabbit hole at the end. I'm going to leave it to the end about how I've thought about the show and myself and being a 30-year-old woman who's now married, who's bought a house, who's full-time social media podcast girly, and how this is going to sound this is what I thought of titling the show. 30, married, and dumb. Or no, I'm kidding. The whole, I don't even want to say it out loud because I feel this sucks to say out loud about myself, but I don't know about you, but the internet is making me stupid. I feel my brain is being, yes, I have internet brain. Hi, I'm Jacqueline. I'm a wife and I have internet brain, but I feel stupid. And so moving forward on the show, I definitely want to, dive into things deeper and educate myself with you about the topics that I'm interested in, the news topics that I really only skate the surface of ever. And I want to move forward with the show as hi, I'm your sexy teacher. Hi, I'm your sexy wifey teacher. Literally, because I'm at this point now where I feel I've been spinning like a top mentally. And I've been just moving through life, existing, and this sounds so dark. I just got married. Can we just talk about the fun wedding shit right now? Why do I'm already going into the spiral about it, but the internet is making me stupid. My phone is making me stupid. and I'm over it. And I'm 30 and I'm over it. And I feel like I need to go back to school. I need to like, it's so annoying. I'm like, I don't know shit about fuck, not to quote Ruth from Ozark, but I just feel dumb. I feel stupid. I feel like I don't know anything. I don't know what's going on in the world. There's too much information. The news cycle goes too fast. And my consumption of media is so unfocused. And so, yes, I could just sum it up by saying this. Moving forward with my show, with my own personal consumption of media, I want to be a focused, intentional consumer. Is this a health and wellness? Is this going to be a mindset, health and wellness? Like, oh, fuck me. Like can it just be fun and light? Yes, it can. But I think I've hit a wall. Like I'm like ready to, I literally have a history book next to me that I might pull out and read at the end of the show. Like I'm at the point now where I'm like, you guys are going to sit, it's going to be an audiobook. Like I'm going to read chapters of books and I don't care. I'm going to sit down with a book and I'm going to read a chapter with you at some point in the show and we're going to learn about stuff. Like I have this book I'm reading right now called The Coming Wave about AI. What a great topic to learn about in this day and age. Like I know nothing about it, right? So I want to learn about it. Or just the fucking election. Like, I don't know anything. Like, ugh. So that's where I'm at. I'm going back to school with myself and my lifestyle choices are so... Okay, here, we're not even doing... Okay, I have a whole entire itinerary. It's funny, I got reached out by a producer who I'm meeting with tomorrow. And she's like, yeah, we need to work on the intro and like hooking people into your show. Like it's kind of like your area of weakness as a host. And I'm doing it. I'm literally doing it right now. I'm spiraling. I'm going into a tangent about feeling stupid. And yeah, but I do have an entire itinerary here. I did not just lose my train of thought. What was I saying? Hi. Okay. This is, again, nothing has changed. Here we are. Oh yeah, I was going to share this other epiphany I had about myself. And I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. And this is like what you tune into a podcast for, but hi, I'm married and I had an epiphany like a month before my wedding. And I've been educating myself a lot recently about being a woman in this day and age. And honestly, this is what it is. Okay. Yes, I'm married. Yes, I'm in a very like stereotypical situation as a woman in 2024 or like a very traditional setup, right? But I had an epiphany that the patriarchy I have been brainwashed by the patriarchy. And this is not me 4 years ago. Like the fucking word patriarchy would never have come out of my mouth. Like when I started my show 4 years ago, but I'm realizing that for my entire 20s, my only goal, the only priority I ever had as a woman was finding a man, finding a mate, getting married someday, like settling down. Like that's what I focused on. And my entire lifestyle choices, my entire like world revolved around like looking hot, dating men, like rinse, repeat, like going out, like it's all about like finding a guy, dating a guy, getting in a relationship, and then like hopefully you find the one. And at the end of the day, like it all worked out, right? But I'm realizing that I have missed out a lot in my 20s on like, that sounds so insane. I don't regret anything. Like I don't, but I'm learning now that this is the whole like decentering men shit. Okay. That's where I'm at. I have centered men as an adult woman for literally a decade of my dating years and everything. And it all worked out, right? Like, oh, this is what a lot of women are doing when they're like dating. They're like looking for a man. They want to get married. They want to settle down. Da, da, da. Eventually, like that's the goal. But I did it so extreme to the point where I never prioritized female friendships. I never prioritized finding a female community and girls. And like, I was looking around at my wedding and I'll just admit it right now. Like I didn't have any bridesmaids and I had my two best friends from my childhood show up because those are my only two like best friends that I would want at my wedding. All my other friends are like passerby or friends that I go out with, or I'm friends with them because they're their husbands or their boyfriends are friends with my husband. Hi, my husband. Hi, not my fiance anymore, my husband. So anyways, I'm in this point in my life where, okay, I want to educate myself. I want to be more focused about my time and my consumption of media, because like it or not, like, okay, we're all staring at our phones all day. Like, might as well do something useful with it for your brain and not be ruled by it, right? And then on the other side of that, I'm also decentering men, and I'm centering women, and, you know, for the first time as an adult woman. And I just feel like that's the empty bucket in my life. And I have it all. Like, I have it all, but that's the area where I'm like, damn, you know, I'm learning about this now, where I honestly would say, if you're a young woman who moves to a new city, like, get your girlfriends figured out first. Get your social life with the girls set up first before you go date a man. Because what did I do when I moved to San Diego? I moved in with a man after a month of landing here. Like, don't do what I did. Okay, like, go find your girls. Get a roommate, a girl room. I've never had like female roommates. I've never had a girl group. I've never been in like a girl, like, and yeah, so that's where I'm at. Like, in my 30s, it's all about the girls. I got the man. It's time to have the girls. You know what I mean? So I have a great show for you today. Jesus Christ, we already spiraled. I haven't been here in a while though, so I just like wanted to get those main things off my chest. But I do have a great show for you today. Like I said, we're going to deep dive into the wedding, how all that went, the outfits, the dress, the day, like how everything went, what went wrong, if anything went wrong. Little teaser, nothing went wrong. So now you know, nothing. We're going to talk about what I did the week after the wedding. And yeah, just like general life updates, you know, where I've been, what I've been up to, how I've been spending my time after the wedding. 'Cause like, we need to talk about it. And yeah, let's get into it. But before I get into the topics of today's show, holy shit, breaking a sweat. I'm in a sweater dress and knee-high boots. I'm going to go turn the AC on. But before I do that, please hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening right now. I'm on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcast, Stitcher, Breaker, Overcast. Wherever you listen to podcasts, please hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to review the show 5 stars while you're there. Follow me on TikTok at Jacqueline Monroe, YouTube, The Jacqueline Monroe Show, Instagram, Jacqueline Monroe, anywhere. Just type Jacqueline Monroe into everything and wait a minute. Yes, I have a new last name. Oh my God. We're staying the Jacqueline Monroe Show, but I am now Mrs. Siegel. So my husband's last name is Siegel. I am now Mrs. Siegel out in, you know, the world, but Jacqueline Monroe is staying on all my socials, so you can find me there. But yeah, go ahead and please, if you're on your apps right now, or if you're on Spotify, especially, or Apple, review the show 5 stars before we get into it. So thank you so much. And yeah, let's do the little life updates and the wedding recap. Okay. So as you may or may not know, I fully embraced bridalhood, I fully embraced the pressure from society on a bride to be a perfect Barbie doll on her wedding day. And I just have to say, I saw her photos, I saw the wedding videos and everything, and I slayed. Okay, I slayed. I've never looked that good in my life. But what I'm saying is I fully embraced it to the point where I was over-exercising, under-eating for a good 2 months there, and really like pushing my body to the max. And I knew I did it with I knew it was a short-lived thing. Like, I was like, I'm going to do this for 2 months. I did it. It all worked out. I'm very happy with how I looked. Because the reason for that is the last thing I wanted was to look at my wedding photos and the videos and just like hate how I looked, right? Which sounds insane because people are like, you don't need to lose any weight. I lost 15 pounds. Okay. Putting it out there. How did I do that? If you want to know, I just honestly stopped snacking. I didn't have snacks throughout the day. I kept it really light and tight with the food. Like, you know, we weren't eating out at restaurants all the time like we usually do. I wasn't having our froyo nights with him like I usually do. So it was mostly just like cutting out the processed foods, working out more than I normally do. I was just doing more cardio and more Pilates and hot yoga. Okay. So I lost 15 pounds in 2 months. Like that's a lot. I get it. But it was just like the fluff. I lost all the fluff anyways. So, I want to bring you up to speed to where I'm at now because, all I wanted to do after the wedding, this is what I said. I had like 10 different outfit changes throughout the wedding weekend. All of them were like dresses, form-fitting, tight. I had to wear like, tape and under, what are they called? Like skim shit. Like I was just like, I felt like I was in a sausage casing and I was just like always in perfect posture and like always on display. Everyone was always like looking for the bride. Like, where's the bride, And all I wanted to do the week after the wedding was lay around in sweatpants and eat and not give a shit. Okay. So, it has officially been a week. Yeah. Today is Monday. Our wedding was last Saturday. Yeah. A full week. And I had 7 pieces of pizza last night. We watched football. We watched what game was it? I forget. But I had 7 pieces of pizza and a very large helping of our wedding cake. We wrapped it up in our freezer. Like we fully wrapped it. Like it was like put away. Like we're taking this out on our 1-year anniversary. Like we weren't supposed to eat it. I was like, after the 7 pieces of pizza, I was like, I need cake. Okay. I need our wedding cake. It's the best cake I've ever had in my life. It was a coconut cake with like vanilla frosting. Had about 6 beers. Corey was drinking Chardonnay, living his best husband life that day. He was, what did we do that day? We did like housework. He planted a few new plants. He stained some wood. I did some laundry. I was, I cleaned our rugs with our new, rug cleaner we got from our registry. Thank you, Ashley and Raph, for getting us that. Anyways, I ate for an entire week after the wedding. I ate like I had the body type of fucking Trent Williams. Okay. I was eating like an offensive tackle for the 49ers. Like I was out of control and I'm like, I hate how I feel right now. Like, to be honest, like I overdid it. But I wanted to. I was like, I'm going to just like relax. I wasn't working out last week. I was doing a lot of lounging in sweatpants and eating my face off and enjoying my life as a wife, letting myself go as a wife does. No, I'm kidding. Do not do that. So like, that's what I've been up to. We watched Monsters. We watched the Menendez brothers documentary, which was amazing. I know it got a lot of bad reviews because they misinterpreted or like misrepresented the actual story, but I loved it. I love those actors. It's like Cooper Koch, and I don't know the other guy's names, but they were amazing actors, and I loved it. It kind of gave me Dahmer vibes, like the way they produced the show or like the look of it was just so well done and very high quality. And so we watched Monsters. We watched The Perfect Couple, I think it's called, about the wedding I think it was in Nantucket, and there's like a murder. So we watched that. And then obviously football. Oh my God. We watched the Alabama-Georgia game. Oh my God. I don't know if you know what happened, but it was just like the craziest turn of events, the entire game. And Alabama ultimately won, but we watched that. We played some golf last weekend. We've been like watching football, eating food, doing all my favorite fall things, right? Like I've been cooking. We had our first dinner party as a new couple last week, which is really fun. So yeah, it's been like a really nice week, first week married, just very chill, very relaxed. But hi, I feel like a fucking offensive tackle from 49ers right now. Where's my phone? Awesome. Cool. Hi, we're still recording. So you guys want to probably know about the wedding, and what happened and all the things. I'll talk about my dress, how I picked it out, the whole story of that. I just want to say something back to the whole like decentering men and like finding my girls and blah, 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 blah. My best friend came to my wedding, and it's so funny how like we're the same. Like, I feel like we're the same person. Like whenever I'm with her, I'm like, she just gets me and I get her on like a really like sisterly, like real level. I don't know how to explain it. Like we've known each other since we were like 6. But it's so funny because not only was she like, yeah, I have perioral, oh my God, dermatitis, or I had it and I had to buy this cream. And I noticed when you're getting your makeup done on your wedding morning, like, I'm pretty sure that's what I had. And I think you might have it too. So now, hi, life update. I have perioral dermatitis, and I gave myself that by overdoing the skincare before the wedding. I'm pretty sure I had a reaction to something. So I'm now putting sulfur cream on my face every day. I'm not doing any actives, no retinols, no vitamin C's, no BHAs, no nothing. I'm just like sulfur cream, basic creams. I am wearing a lot of makeup today. I'm making it worse, but, yeah. So she's like, yeah, I have perioral dermatitis, and I was diagnosed with ADHD 2 years ago. And she was breaking down, and when she said that, we were eating our croissants and our like breakfast stuff, and drinking our mimosas, like on my little wedding morning while we were getting ready. And she was talking to me about it. And I've been obviously talking about ADHD on the show, and how there's like stuff that I come across where I'm like, that lines up. Like I resonate with a lot of the symptoms or the whatever of women with ADHD. And she's like, yeah, I got diagnosed years ago. And then she was breaking down all the different things she struggles with. And I'm like, I struggle with that too. And I was like, do you take naps all the time? Are you always tired? And she's like, every fucking day. And I'm like, that's like my thing that I hate about myself. I'm like, I'm always tired. I'm always exhausted. And then, I feel extremely overstimulated by just the littlest things that are basic, like text messages. Oh my God. Like literally communication. And this is probably the reason I'm bringing this up right now, and I'm not talking about the wedding, sorry, is because she's like, yeah, I'm not like, her heart is good. Like, I feel like I'm the same way. I'm like, I like people. I am interested in people. When I'm interacting in person with people, I'm happy. I'm excited. Like I'm genuinely like, I'm enjoying this, but to keep up the communication with people, to make the phone calls, to do the FaceTimes, to do the text messages, to receive a lot of texts from people, to feel this like, it feels overstimulating to me to the point where sometimes I'm like, I get paralyzed. Like I don't text back, or I don't want to call back right away. I just like get this feeling that's like uncomfortable by over communication. And I don't know if that's an ADHD thing, but I'm relating it to the fact that, or I'm stringing this back to like making friends and maintaining friendships. Like I just fall off with people because I don't put in that effort. And I just feel like it's not because I don't like them or I don't want to be friends with them. The thought of like sending a text, like, or calling them or doing that, it like paralyzes me. So that's a whole thing that I'm kind of exploring right now. And when she brought it up and she was just talking about how she's overwhelmed by her lists of stuff every day. She doesn't know how to prioritize things, or like she never finishes the day satisfied, because even if she did a million little things, it doesn't feel like she accomplished anything. And I'm like, that is how I feel every fucking day. Like, unless I climb Everest or accomplish that Everest goal, I feel like a failure. And so I've done a lot of work on this, and I make lists, I cross things off, and I go, okay, those were 10 big things today, or those were 10 medium-sized things. And I did that, and I should feel good. Like I'm moving forward. I'm making progress, right? But yeah, it was funny when she's like, I got perioral dermatitis and I have ADHD, and I'm like, fuck me. I'm like, same bitch. Like I got that sulfur cream. I got that. Now I got to work on that potential diagnosis. I don't like, again, whenever it comes to like mental health stuff or whatever, I don't think in extremes and black and whites. I think people might have a bit of it, like a percentage, like I might have a little bit of it, but I might not be 100%. So anyways, I was like, damn. And then I was like, yeah. So when she said that, I was like, oh my God, this is why you're here. Because I've been talking about it on the show, and I've been learning about it. And a lot of women get diagnosed super late in life because it doesn't present. It's all mental for women. Men, ADHD is a physical manifestation because they're like hyperactive, right? They're the little boy that's like crazy and acting out and acting all wild, and like they get diagnosed quicker than women because women, it's all up here, right? So I don't know. I I also have to remember that I'm great at a lot of things. I have to focus on like my strengths, and like I am getting shit done. But I have this. So the thing for me is this inertia, this like resistance, this block when it comes to communication. And like, I'm a great communicator on my podcast. I love getting on the microphone, sitting in my little house and doing this, right? Like I have no issues like doing this. But when it comes to making contact and like maintaining relationships through communication, through text, through calls, like I just fail at that. I just suck at that. And I'm like, and then Corey's looking at me. He's like, what the fuck? Like he goes, you're great. Everyone loves you. Like everyone thinks you're like, and I might have, I don't know if it's like social anxiety or I don't know. So, but I don't like when she was saying that, she's like, yeah, I don't like miss people, or I don't feel like, I don't know. And she was saying this, she's like, you could not like, cause we don't talk all the time, but she knows that it's not cause I'm blowing her off and I don't like her, or I don't want to be friends with her. I feel like you need to find the friends that like understand that and that aren't super like needy and really like naggy all the time with you, because it doesn't flow with how your brain works, if that makes sense. So anyways, the wedding, Jesus. Okay. So I did say I missed the wedding, which is true. It's a weird feeling. It's like I'm longing for the wedding. I wish I'm like reliving it through the videos and the pictures, but man, it was the most beautiful, amazing day of my life. I could tear up right now. Like I have never felt that much love from that many people in one setting ever. And we had a small wedding. It was 50 people, give or take. And it was at La Jolla Country Club, and which is perfect because like we're both golfers and he's from La Jolla, and it just had like the best vibe to it because it was just like us, the golf thing. And yeah, I can't really think of a better setting for our wedding and a more ideal location, because it was a hometown wedding for him. A lot of his family's in California. A lot of people had to come down from LA, but it was close to people, so we could get people in. My family had to fly out from Washington, but it's so funny because I've talked about this on the show before, but when we first got engaged, I think we went through 50 different scenarios or like location ideas or like situations for how we were going to get married. Like it got to the point where we're like, fuck everything, we're going to the courthouse. And I think every couple gets to that point where they're so overwhelmed by everything. And then obviously there's like the cost of a wedding, and you're like, is it worth it? Are we going to regret it if we don't do something big or like legit? Because you can make a wedding look nice on a pretty reasonable budget. Yeah, you can't. Did we go over? Hi, dude. You're probably wondering, did we go over our budget? Pretty sure we doubled. It was twice as much as we intended. And people would be like, oh, it's stupid. It was a lot. But yeah, it's funny because we were going back and forth with like locations and the size, and we were trying to make it like we were doing all this mental math in our head about it. And I think we both landed on La Jolla Country Club and doing the 50-person wedding and doing it how we did, because we started like romanticizing it in a way. We were starting to like, I don't know. There was something about like, you just start thinking of things like, obviously like the pictures and like just how it'll look. And you're like, oh, like the country club vibe and like we want the beautiful flowers. And just like, I think we both wanted to do something decently sizable, because I feel like if we move forward and we were like, we just eloped or we just like went to the courthouse, I don't know, for me, and he was the same way too. It was just like, I just felt like we both felt like we would regret it. We wanted to do something. We wanted to have a wedding, you know? And I think at one point though, I was like, I'll just get a dress and let's hire a photographer. Like you should just like rent a tux and we'll just do like awesome photos and then just like have a little family party. Like that was a situation we thought of. But yeah, I will say this though. It was no regrets, 100% worth it. Best day of our lives. Like, and it honestly all comes down to this. Nothing went wrong because we hired the world's best wedding planner, Ann Seth Richards is her name. She is like, always 10 steps ahead, always thinking of the little mosquitoes, the little things that you don't think of. Like oh my God. Like speaking of communication, like for some reason, like with the wedding, I was like, you can text and call me and do like as much as you want, because it was like so reassuring, because she was just on her shit. You never had to like sweat anything. On the wedding day, it was just like flawless. Like nothing, like literally nothing went wrong. And that's my biggest tip for weddings. Like, I mean, yes, you can do a lot yourself, but hire a wedding planner. Like that is so worth it. And at least the month before, I don't know how it works, but like the day of, obviously, but since we hired her, I think she planned our wedding in 48 hours. Like it was, at the end of the process before the wedding, I think I still have the paperwork. There was like a 25-page document that she sent us like the week of our wedding of every single minute of like every single thing that was going to happen from like the morning of until the end of the night. And yeah, it was just, I think the best experience because of our wedding planner. And we also like, okay, let me like break down. You guys probably want to know like, just like outfits and stuff. My dress. Do you guys want to know about my dress? Should we start with that? Or just like highlights of the wedding? So we did this. I'll just break down the structure of our wedding weekend. So we did a Thursday night, go meet the family, kind of like a unofficial welcome. My family came in from Washington. They all stayed at a beach house, and I got all dressed up and I was like, F it. Like this, anytime I see anyone this wedding weekend, I'm dressed to the nines. I'm the bride. I'm going to go all out. So I got all dressed up. Corey came, he was golfing that day. This was Thursday. Was this Thursday or Wednesday? What was Thursday? I think this was Thursday night. We did like an unofficial welcome at the beach house, and I think we ordered a bunch of pizzas and like hung out, and that was Thursday night. Should I talk about my outfit for that, or do you guys want me to do outfits after I break down the structure? Okay. So Friday was our rehearsal. Excuse me. One sec. How are you doing? How's it going? Happy fall. This is our 7th inning stretch, and I feel like we're just starting the episode. This is definitely going to be 2 hours. So Friday was our rehearsal at the country club, our walkthrough. And then after that, we had a rehearsal dinner at the beach house. My family put it on. They cooked salmon, chicken piccata, all the sides. Like there was, really great. The drinks were great. What else do we have that night? Chocolate cake, just all the hors d'oeuvres. And that's when everyone showed up. So it was like his family, my family, our friends came in, and that was Friday night. So we did Thursday welcome, Friday rehearsal, Friday dinner. Saturday was obviously the wedding. And then we did an after party at the beach house. My mom offered to do that, which was amazing. She's like, I think that was like 2 weeks before our wedding. She's like, should we just like turn this place into a club and just like go do they did not do that. Like it wasn't that crazy of an after party, but she offered to keep the party going at the beach house after the wedding. And we did that. And then Sunday was a brunch at Corey's parents' house, which they put on fully did themselves. And that was amazing. It was kind of like a casual fiesta-ish brunch with a Mexican food truck, and they had a whole bar set up, and there was churros and ice cream and donuts and face paint for the kids. There's a whole kids set up because there's a ton of kids at this that came in on Sunday. So that was the whole structure of the wedding weekend. And our wedding was at 5 p.m. if you're curious. Hi, I'm trying to recap and think of everything. So outfits. Okay, let's talk about my dress. Let's talk about my wedding dress, because I'm obsessed. I feel like if you're not obsessed with your wedding dress, I feel bad. I think that's the number one thing for a bride to like nail and get right is like the dress, obviously, and you want to love it. You want to feel like beautiful in it. And my dress could not be more opposite of what I thought I wanted to wear or what I ever would imagine myself wearing on my wedding day. So it was the Solana dress from Ann Barge. She's a Southern, I think she is from Georgia or is it Atlanta? I want to say she's a Southern designer. And yeah, so I wore a full lace, high neck, long sleeve, low back, kind of form fitted. What would you call it? Like a fit and flare style wedding dress. And like a pretty dainty veil. My veil was ballroom length. What's it called? Waltz or ballroom? I forget. Maybe waltz length. Had a little sparkle on the edge. But I found this dress with Corey's mom back in November. And I just remember the moment where I came in and obviously I wanted something completely different. I was trying on like strapless, low cut in the front. Like I was like, okay, are we going to like sex it up this for the wedding? Or are we going to be more conservative? And I was kind of liking the more low cut ones because it just like looked good on my body. You know, it was like, it fit my silhouette or whatever, like strappy stuff, like full lace. There was like a lot of the dresses had like mesh and stuff around the neckline. And at one point I tried on a solid that was really elegant and very bridal, very classic. But it was like too much dress. And then long story short, that's not what we do here on the show. I should never say, oh my God, hi, I'm a podcast host. Hi, I'm a wife. Hi, I'm a podcast host. Never say long story short. If you're a podcast host, never say long story short. Tell the fucking story. Tell the whole story. Is that the first time I swore? Tell the fucking story. Okay. So after I tried on a few dresses, I was like, do you have anything high neck? Or yeah, because I had some long sleeve, low cut ones on that were kind of like, they weren't working. But I think I asked, I was like, do you have anything high neck? And they go, oh yeah, we have this dress in the back, but I don't know if you'll like it. Like no one looks good in it, or like no one likes it, or it just, that's why we keep it in the back. Like no one ever picks this one out. And I was like, okay, whatever. But it was like the only one they had that was, I think, high neck, long sleeve. So they pull it out. And I just remember looking at it and it was just like, oh, it's cute. Like whatever. And then I put it on and I was like, It was kind of one of those moments where I was like, you know, like I didn't really know what to think of it. Right. Like it didn't immediately win me over. So I think I like took it off, tried on a few more. And then when I went back to it, it was like, okay, I love it. You know, it started growing on me. The dress was like starting to, like I just started like standing different. I started just smiling bigger. I think that's what happens when you find the one. Like when you say yes to the dress, it's like, because that's the dress that you're just the most you in, the most comfortable in, you just feel the most beautiful in. And yeah, so it was one of those things where I didn't go in wanting that at all. I never thought about having a high neck, long sleeve dress, but that's the one I picked out. And then I had to keep it a secret for so fucking long. And I remember I had all the videos and pictures of the dress in my hidden album on my iPhone. And I was so worried. I was like, I would be so devastated if Corey ever saw it before the wedding. And, it was kind of reminiscent. The dress is very reminiscent of the Oscar de la Renta, who was, the applique, like the lace is very reminiscent of, actually the entire top of the dress is pretty identical to what Paris Hilton wore. Hers was more of a ball gown, like bottom half, but everything about the top was pretty identical to hers. And I found that out after the fact. And so yeah, my dress, I'm obsessed with. And I actually did something to the back of it that I wanted to do from the beginning. And I had the most amazing tailor, and she ended up cutting the back lower because it kind of hit me mid back at first. And I was like, I want to like show off the back more and just make it a little sexier from behind because everything's covered up. Right. So my amazing tailor, She's been doing this for like 45 years. She learned how to sew in sewing school for like 6 years in Turkey. And she was an immigrant. She came over here, I think like 35 years ago, I think she said. And she was amazing. Like I had no doubts. Like when I walked in and I was like, okay, I'm meeting the tailor for the first time, I was like, I'm not even worried that she's going to F this up. Like she killed it. Everything, it fit me like a glove. And so, yeah, that was like the wedding dress, situation. And it sucks. Like, okay, literally I'm like, I know this happens to every bride, but like, okay, I didn't switch into a second look for the reception. I went from the ceremony to the reception in the same dress. I bustled it, which looked great. I took off my veil for the reception, but after we got into our car and like did the sparkler thing at the very end of the reception and went back to our hotel, because we did the after party, right? At the beach house, I took my dress off and I was like, oh, fuck, like this is it. It's over. Like the dress is done. The dress is retired. That's it. It's going in a bag. It's hanging in a closet. It's over. It's done. That moment is so like gut wrenching because you're like, oh, so much. Like it's such dresses are so expensive. Like it's over, you know? And I had that moment. I was just like, okay, now it's time to put on the next dress, right? And I put on my little party dress and it was just a weird thing. And it was like draped over, like we were in a hurry to get to the after party. And it was just like draped over a chair in our hotel room. And I'm just like, there it is. And then the next day, like Corey zipped it up in a bag, put it on the, what's it called? The cart, the luggage cart, and like put it in the car. And now it's in the closet, right? And it's a thing, right? Again, like every bride, I feel like goes through that moment where they realize like it's done, it's over. The dress it did its time. It's retired. But I loved my after party dress. I need to get into the outfits, but like I did spend 2 months, a good 2 months searching and researching and finding like the perfect outfits for each step of the way of the wedding weekend. And I killed it. I slayed. I love my wedding dress, but I loved all of the other looks just as much, if that makes sense. Like I didn't wear anything where I was like, oh, this is kind of you know? I really took my time with it because I was like, this is the one time, right? Like I don't do this all the time. It's not your wedding all the time, right? Like you can go out and it's different than like, yeah, going out and like getting a cool dress for like an event. But I'm kind of over white. I am over white. I'm just like, I wore white, by the way, for every single outfit. I didn't do like some white, some not. But yeah, I'm trying to think. Let's do the wedding day. Should I break down the wedding day and what happened and kind of the gist of it? Because I will say this about the wedding day. It was like, okay, we're getting ready. The hair and makeup artists are there. They're doing all the girls and it's my turn. And then I get done. And there was a moment though, where it was like go time. I was like, oh, this is what we've been training for. This is like what I've been preparing for. It's like a moment. There is a moment on your wedding day where a switch goes off and it's like, go, 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 go. It's happening. Like you're getting married. You slip on your dress. The photographer's there. They're taking pictures of everything. Actually, before I slipped my dress on, there was a moment. The photographer came in after all of her hair and makeup was done. God bless her soul. Like I love watching professionals be professional. She literally was like, she grabbed my dress. She's like, where's your ring? She's like, where's your vow book? Like, where's your bouquet? I mean, she wasn't like aggressive like that, but I was like helping her, you know? And she's doing all the shots of the bridal like accessories or whatever, my veil, you know? And she's like hooking things up. At one point, I think we had dental floss around a hook on the wedding dress over a banister. She's like taking pictures of that. I mean, it was like go, 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 go. And I'm like, oh shit, like it's happening, right? It's happening. And it was kind of like a script, not like she had an hour, she had time, but I think she wanted to get everything, all the shots, right? And she wanted to make sure that we had enough shots once I put the dress on and with the bridesmaids. And I didn't have bridesmaids, but everyone wore the same robe and everyone was matching. So that was, kind of bridesmaidy. But yeah, that moment was like, oh, like, here we go. It was really wild. And I had a moment of realization of clarity where I was like, okay, it's happening. And, I think, another thing I forgot. So little things went wrong, but not where it was like devastating. I had a special, these are the details. These are the things that I think get forgotten at the last minute, or like or in the planning process, you don't think about, but I got a special hanger for my wedding dress because I knew that there was going to be photos of it. Like I wanted all the hangers. I wanted all the like details to be beautiful. Right. So I did forget the hanger for my wedding dress that I wanted to use. So when the photographer came in at one point, we like opened a closet we were in the women's locker room at the country club. It was like an upstairs locker room. It was, overlooking the ocean. It was beautiful. Like I wanted to get ready in a scenic area. We could have had like a separate room just for us. But anyways, we opened a closet and there was like a perfect, like, it was like a white, it was like as if another bride had used it for her wedding dress. It was just hanging there by itself, a white satin hanger. And she like grabbed that and she was like hanging the dress up. And then of course I slipped the dress on and I did, my little walkout where everyone's like, oh my God, I'm seeing this for the first time, even though some of them had seen it before. And then we did the pictures of that. And then it was like, oh, okay, I got to talk about the first look. That's what I got to get into. We got to talk about okay. That was the unexpected thing. The first look was a trip. Okay. So let me think. So morning of, did I cover everything? I woke up. Okay. I'm trying to like recap hair and makeup. Okay. We're at the point before the ceremony. No, we're at the first look. So we did the getting ready part. And it was cool. We had a whole spread of food. It was great. I think that's something you don't want to forget about is like having good food during the getting ready process. Cause it took a while. I think we got there at 10 and then I did my first look at 4. So it was like an all day event. And okay. So the first look. So it was like, okay, it's time, Jacqueline. Corey's ready. He's here. He was on the green. He was on over by the golf course, or he was off close to the putting green. I don't know, whatever. He was there. I was told Corey's there. He's ready for you. And I'm like, holy shit. Okay, here we go. It's happening. Right. And the photographer comes with me and my wedding planner was holding my dress and she's like, standing next to me in the elevator and we're like, okay, he's over there. And I think I saw him from a distance. And this was the trip. This was the part of the wedding where I was like, this was a unexpected moment that I didn't realize I was going to have. So Corey is posted up for the first look and I see him in the distance with his back turned to me. And I just remember thinking he looks so like what's the word? Just like posted up. Like he's just like hands, together, legs were kind of far apart. Like he wasn't standing like feet together. It was like feet kind of wide. Okay. Like power stance. And then I saw the other photographer there and the videographer and they're kind of off to the side of him. And I had to walk like a good, I don't know, like 80 yards to like get to him. And so I'm just like seeing him in the distance. And I'm like, first of all, I was like talking to my wedding planner. I'm like, I feel like I'm on The Bachelorette or The Bachelor or whatever. And it felt like this is what I didn't expect. I'm like, that's my man. Like that's Corey. I know him. I'm like marrying this man. But for some reason, it just looked like he was a stranger or something. Like it was like there was this distance between us where, yes, I hadn't seen him at all that day. I saw him the night before at the rehearsal dinner, but it was like this weird distance of like, this is like I don't know, like I feel like that moment of the first look and when you finally get together is like such a beautiful moment. And I'm so happy we did it. But just walking up to him, I was like, I think it's because his back was turned to me. Hi, Lily. But he looked like it was like a weird, kind of outer body experience. And I was all nervous and like kind of smiling and just like, whoa, this is weird. And I'm like, what shoulder do I tap? And my wedding planner's just like, oh, and the photographer, like they help you out, obviously. As I walked up to him, he had me like stop and he goes, okay, like when you're ready, just go tap his shoulder. And I chose the right shoulder. I think that was, I don't think it mattered, but I was like, I'm going to do the right shoulder. And guys, he bawled, like immediately cried. He turned around. I've never seen Corey cry in person ever. Like I've never seen Corey ever cry, and immediate tears. And it was just this like powerful moment of him seeing me in the dress for the first time, me seeing him in his tux and like coming together. And then I started crying and I was just like, it was just so heavy. It was so heavy and beautiful, and like not heavy in an emotional way. It was just like, we're doing this, you know? And for that moment, oh my God, the distance between us before the first look felt so weird. And I'm like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if any other brides have felt that before, but like when they did their first look, but it was like, I'm giddy and this is weird. And I know this man, but his back's turned to me, and it felt, this is what it is. This is my takeaway also from the ceremony. Corey and I are two very unserious people. We're not, we're, you know, we goof off. We're not, you know, serious and, you know, proper people. And so everything about the structure of the wedding we did, and we did a very traditional wedding, was so like serious and official. And that first look was so like, you know, the way he was standing, that's what it was for me. And it was so like stiff. And I think that's what was kind of contributing to me feeling those emotions about it. Cause I was like, this is my man, but like his back's turned to me. Like, what the fuck? Like, you know, so he never does that. And obviously it's something I think I would recommend doing a first look. Like it was a great, I loved that. That was a highlight. And then our family photos happened right after that. And again, it was go time. It was like family photos, hide the bride, hide the entire processional party of people in the separate room before they walk out. Guests are coming, they're seated. You know, it was a whole, what do you call it? Conductor of a ship. It was a whole orchestra happening. And I'm trying to think. Yeah, after the first look, and then we're hanging out, you know, There's my groom. We're in this like side room outside of where our ceremony was. And there's the groom, there's his parents, there's our flower girl and our ring bearer, there's my mom, there's my brother walking me down the aisle, there's my grandma, she was there. And we're all just hanging out. And it was kind of a weird, like, I guess that's what you do at a wedding. Like everyone who's walking down the aisle has to like hang somewhere. And you know, I'm just like drinking cucumber water and sitting in my dress. And I was trying not to like F with my veil because I had this like French twist hair that was very delicate that I didn't want to mess up. And yeah, it was just like I don't know how to explain it. It was just like a wild chain of events where you're like, it was like one thing after another thing after another thing. And I was just trying to enjoy every second of the way. Like I was really trying to be present and just like remember things as they were happening. And yeah, I did have an oh shit moment though. Let me get into this with walking down the aisle. So it's time for the bride to come in, right? Excuse me. So Corey and his parents walked out. My mom and my grandma walked out. We had the flower girl and the ring bearer walk down the aisle. And then it was my turn, right? And I chose a song. The song I chose to walk down the aisle to, I could cry. No, I'm not going to. But like when I first heard the song, when I thought about the song, when I was planning the song for my walkout, I like got emotional because I chose the Ever After theme song from the movie Ever After. If you've never seen it, it's with Drew Barrymore. I feel like it's a movie that's kind of, it's not really talked about. I feel like whenever I ask people if they've seen it, they're like, huh? Like they don't know about it. I'm like, it's Drew Barrymore. It's like my favorite movie she's in. And I think the song's by George Fenton or something. George Fenton. I think he did like the entire soundtrack, and it's just this beautiful song. It fit the vibe perfectly. And the thing about it, and this is where I kind of had a little hiccup. The thing about it is there's a 50-second buildup before the like drop where I wanted to walk out, right? Now, my wedding planner told me that it's hard to hear the music back here, like from our holding room. It's hard to hear the music, and, you know, I'm going to have to count 50 seconds. But here's what happened. So I'm standing behind the door. My brother is, you know, I'm walking in with my brother, and I realized, like, she's like, okay, go. And I'm like, no. Like, this isn't even the right song. Like, it was the song that was supposed, like, the processional song for everyone that came before me. So I realized, okay, it's the wrong song. So she had to do one of these, a little, like, cue to the music guy to switch it. And then the beginning of the song's kind of quiet. I mean, it was, people in the crowd could hear it. Like, I knew that they had the volume right, because out there you could hear it, but clearly we couldn't. So I couldn't even hear the beginning of the song. And so I'm literally like ear to the door, and I didn't want anyone to see me. It's kind of, the door's kind of cracked a little bit, and my wedding planner's like listening, and I'm listening, and I'm like not hearing what I want to hear. And I'm like, is this even the right song? So I was kind of having an oh shit moment, because I really wanted to walk out at this certain part. The nice thing about this, the reason I wanted to do this, and this is my little, like, I don't know, like, hi, I want to be the center of attention. Hi, I'm the bride. Hi, I'm, you know, whatever, is I liked that the beginning of the song was, there was like a 50-second kind of build up until I walked out, because I wanted people to be like, okay, they hear the music. They're like, where is she coming from? Is she going to ascend from like the sky? Like, is she coming in on a chopper? Like, is she, you know, skydiving? Like, where's the bride? You know, like, I wanted people to be like, okay, the music's playing for the bride, but where is she? Until the drop, right? So, oh my God, I got so worried in that moment, because I wasn't hearing it, and then I like heard it, and I was like, okay, it's time. And they opened the doors, and then I did, you know, I walked down, and it all went perfectly. But that was my oh shit moment where I was like, oh, I really don't want this to get fucked up. So, yeah, I walked down the aisle, all eyes on me. I walked very slow. I really milked the song. Like, I really wanted to like hear the song and its full, like, it was a long songs, and the aisle was not, I think the aisle was like 20 yards. I'm thinking in football lengths right now. Like, that's how my brain is skewed because of football. I'm thinking of like yardage. Like, I would say 20 yards, maybe not even. So I had to walk really slow, and I was just looking at Corey the whole time. And, you know, then we got married. Okay, now we're at the ceremony. Oh my God. It's like boom, boom, boom. But our ceremony, we did our vows in front of everyone, which I think was obviously the highlight for us and the audience, the people that were there. Corey, I mean, he was first, and I just knew, I'm like, oh, fuck me, I'm gonna cry. Cause I knew it, and I cried so like gross, like I was just like crying. And when it was my turn to do my vows, I was like tearing up the whole time, and I had my special little cloth that I think I had him keep in his tux. I think he gave to me. Yeah, I had him keep my tear cloth in his, he had to like pull it out. I was crying through my vows, and then, you know, it was like, you may now kiss the bride, and then we had Michael Bublé play. It was like, L is for the way you know, we did that song. There's rose petals flying, and the cool thing was, so we ended up doing our photos right after that. Corey and I did our wedding pictures, our portraits right after that, and we had a little Just Married golf cart backed up by where we got married, and then they like drove us away, and we did all of the pictures, and it was like this really special moment, because we were just married, and then we got all those cool moments right after. And the only thing that I was a little bit bummed about, just if I could be nitpicky, was the weather. Like, I wanted a little sun streak to break through at one point. Like, the La Jolla Country Club setting is like, it's up high. It's a golf course that's like on a cliff, kind of. I don't know how to explain it. It's like really, the setting is high, and then you have this vantage point of like the whole entire ocean, and the sunsets there are beautiful. But it was a cloudy day. It was just a nice, cloudy, perfect for photos kind of day. And I knew it was good for pictures, but I was like, ugh, like I wish I had a little sun flare going through my veil at some point. But it is what it is. The pictures turned out beautiful. Like, I'm happy with it. And then I think after the pictures, we rode back on the golf cart, and our wedding planner had a little like, okay, this is something we did right. I will say this. I'll get into it. Our wedding planner had a little like setup of all the hors d'oeuvres they were serving, cocktail hour, and a couple glasses of champagne for us in the little like side room we were in. And we kind of sat and like ate the snacks together and just like had our champagne, practiced our first dance a little bit. And then she wanted to show us the reception room because we hadn't seen it. So then she like gave us a big reveal of that. And she's like, okay, do you guys want to go join cocktail hour? Like, you know, we still have some time and you guys should just kind of casually walk in. And I'm so glad we did that. So something I was worried about or just kind of like bummed about is that we're going to go off and do photos. Everyone's at cocktail hour and we're not really going to be able to enjoy that with people or like go to that. We're going to completely miss our own cocktail hour. And it worked out where we did our pictures. We kind of had this, I don't know, maybe like 20-minute like time frame to like greet everyone after the ceremony and during cocktail hour. And we walked in and everyone was just like, oh my God, you know, we didn't make it like an official, like, here comes the bride and groom or here comes Mr. and Mrs. Siegel, you know? And, you know, the photographer is there. He's taking pictures of all of us and the like group shots. And we were just greeting everyone, which was amazing. And, yeah. And then I think it was time for us to like leave that. We went back into the holding room and then, you know, people got seated. And this is something that I think this was like the special touch that Corey and I decided to do that I think was super memorable for our guests and special is when people went to get their seating card and, you know, find their seat at the reception. We hand wrote like a special card for every single guest. And we had a table where we had these really pretty, I like did the whole thing. I designed the whole thing. We had these beautiful, like sheeny, like ivory envelopes with a pretty ribbon around it. We had a wax seal, a special like personalized stamp, with Corey and our name on it with like the wedding date and the location. It was just like really like pretty. And so the guests, when they went to go to the reception, were opening the cards, reading these personal notes from us. And I think Corey saw that on Instagram like 3 weeks before the wedding. He's like, we should do this. So it's kind of a random thing we came across. It wasn't a long-term plan. And that's the one thing that was very, like, if I could say, my tip for that is a lot of time because, and honestly, like you wanted, when you're handwriting personal notes for all of your family that's there and your friends and your just everyone, like it's going to bring stuff up and it's almost like a little therapy session with yourself because they're all very, all the notes you wrote were very like grateful, right? Like you're writing about this person and what they mean to you and what they've done for you in your life. And I started with my grandma and I was bawling, like fully bawling when I wrote hers. And the way we did it is I think 2 weeks before the wedding, like we kind of was last minute ish, but I mean, we gave ourselves enough time, but we had a Google Doc of every single guest. And then we just kept adding to it. And then we did that before we actually wrote them so that we could, you know, we didn't mess anything up because I had special paper that was very expensive and I didn't want to like, you know, I wanted to have enough and whatever. So that was a little special touch we did. But yeah, so cocktail hour ended and it was time for us to do our grand entrance and do our first dance. And here we come, you know, the bride and groom, Mr. and Mrs. Siegel, we walk in and it was, our first dance was Celine Dion, the Power of Love. So we choreographed something for like the first minute and the song's like 4 minutes. So we were just kind of at one point, we're like kind of over it. We're like, okay, it's like, let's fade it out. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of getting long. But I kind of want to like move things fast because this is going to be a 10-hour podcast. Like the reception, everything was like more beautiful than I could have imagined. It was more grand than I could have imagined. Everything was all the details. I mean, I knew what we were doing. I knew what we were paying for, but the way it looked and the way it felt when we were there was a lot. It was just so much. It was more than I imagined in my mind, if that makes sense. So everything was kind of a pleasant surprise. I was just so like, how, about the whole thing. And, first dance, and then it was like dinner, speeches, dancing, my brother started doing the worm and everyone's like, what the fuck? Like, where'd that come from? At one point I'm being lifted in a chair. I brought like 8 different cameras to my wedding. Something I made a point to do was to bring film and Polaroids, like, to every wedding event of the weekend, so we could have some fun photos besides the professional photographer photos. So my cousin was like taking Polaroids. She was like, I got it, whatever. My sister was on it. The photographer even grabbed my dad's old Canon camera I brought a flash with it too, and he was taking like film photos of us dancing. And God, the food was so great. We did like a buffet style or whatever. Like, you get a plated salad and bread, and that's like on the table, and then you can go to different stations. So I think I talked about this on a different podcast, but I was like, oh, I did my hot takes on weddings, and like what I said was in or out, or what I thought was like, yeah. So I made a point that like sometimes plated dinners, it's like in your mind, you're like, oh, getting a plate of food served to you is like more like classy or whatever. It's like your mind thinks it's like, oh, this is more, whatever. But in my experience at weddings, like, or just at any event I go to where there's a plated meal, like by the time I get it, it's cold. It's never as much as I want. And I'm like, so we had, I think, 5 different food options, all different types of cuisines, and people could get up and go and like get as much as they wanted. And, and then we had our cake cutting time where we did that, and I ate the entire slice. Corey just had a little bite. I'm like, this is too good. Like, I'm eating this entire slice of wedding cake right now. Like, it was so good. Like, at that moment I was like, yes, we picked out the right flavor. But, and then it was like, okay, we're dancing. People are taking pictures in the photo booth. There's, drinks flowing, and then it's like, okay, we're doing the sparklers. Okay. So my wedding planner's like getting everyone to go line up outside our car that we drove away in. And, everyone's lined up. They got their little matchboxes. We like personalized a funny photo of us on matchboxes. That was a good idea. And then it was time for us to do our exit. Oh, we did our last song. Our last song was Jason Aldean, Got What I Got. So we did that. And then we proceeded back in the holding room, I think the guests were already out, so we didn't have to do that again. But it was always like there was always a moment where our wedding planner's like, okay, go behind these doors, or like go in this side room or whatever. So the guests had the sparklers, and then we get lined up by the doors to walk out to our car. And we got a classic, like a white old school Rolls, just like, can't go wrong with that at your wedding. I highly recommend. I think just, it's a vibe. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I just loved how and it smelled so good. There's nothing. Old cars, the smell of the leather in an old car, just, oh my God. Like, I just remember getting in the car and I'm like, yes, like, I'm so glad we got this. But we walked through the sparklers. We did a little dip again. We're always like dipping and kissing for the photos, right? They got amazing pictures of that. And one of my tips though for sparklers at your wedding is to go with the big ones. I'm so happy we did that. I think we got the 3-foot long ones, the 36-inch ones, because 12, 24, 36, 36-inch ones, because initially I think our wedding planner sent us like small ones that like, I don't know, like 1 foot. Fuck, I'm hitting a wall. This is getting long. But I was thinking about it. I'm like, okay, these are going to burn out fast, and I want to have time for like the pictures, and I don't want them to look like, I don't want them to like die before we, finish walking down the aisle again. Because people are on both sides. I don't know if you've seen these pictures, but our guests lined. It was kind of like after a soccer game and the parents do the tunnel. Like, that was the vibe. So we go through the sparklers, we get in the car, and it was just like perfect. Like, everything was so like special and like beautiful. And we had this cool, our driver was this like guy, he's been doing it for like 40 years. And he drove us to our hotel. And then at that point it was the after party, right? So I like changed into my dress, threw my wedding dress on the chair. No, I'm kidding. I didn't really throw it, but you know what I mean? And then it was the after party. And then people came to that and it was just drinks and hanging out. And I think the night ended at like 2, which was, I think my sister had to like tell everyone to leave because she was staying there. My whole family was staying there. And I'm so grateful that my mom was down for that, because I think looking back, if the night ended and everyone just went home, I mean, some people obviously did, but I don't know. I'm so happy we like kept the night going and did that. And we had, oh my gosh, my mom and I shopped at Costco that week for food for the after party. And I'm like, just buy taquitos, buy like mozzarella sticks, just get the frozen stuff that you can throw in the oven really quick. Cause like at that point it doesn't need to be fancy. Right. So I just remember like, I don't think I drank water at all that day. And I was like, so you're probably wondering, like, did you drink at your wedding? Like, you know, did you not? Or how much did you drink? Did you overdrink or whatever? And I have to say that whatever I did was like perfect. Like I was like, thank God, I didn't go over the deep end so I had a couple mimosas when we were getting ready. That was fine. I didn't get too tired. So there's no issues with the mimosas. And then obviously we had champagne. And then the nice thing was, so we had the stations where people were getting their food, but we had someone serving us at our sweetheart table. Cause we had a separate table, obviously for me and Corey. And then, yeah, someone serving us. So we had champagne flowing the entire time. Every time I looked at my champagne glass, it was full. Then they were serving us wine. And then Corey and I wanted to try one of the cocktails. So we had like a cocktail too. So I had a mixture of things and I just kind of sipped on a little bit of each. It was probably stupid. I mixed everything like that, but I was fine. Like by the time it was the after party, I was, going back to the taquitos though. I was kind of feeling a little at the after party, and I was eating, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like I'm just like, I can't sober up, but like I'm eating all these taquitos and the mozzarella sticks. I'm like, nothing's happening. Like what's going on? And then one of my friends was like, just drink water. So I started chugging water and I felt a lot better. But cause a lot of brides are like, I'm not drinking on my wedding. I want to remember everything. I don't want to be like, you know, buzzed at the altar or whatever. Like, I don't want to like black out and go, but I was like, I'm going to enjoy myself. And I think I did it perfectly, but I was very hungover at the brunch the next day. And that was the only shitty thing is I feel like the next day our brunch was at 11 a.m., which is the perfect time to start. But I just remember being like, ugh, you know. So Corey and I woke up so the after party happened. It was amazing. We left. And then Corey took my virginity that night. Guys, no longer a virgin. I'm Corey. Okay, do any brides, like, okay, hear me out. Like, so pre-wedding, right? You're planning your outfits and then you're like, what am I going to wear on my wedding night? Like, so I had this vision of like, okay, we're having the wedding and then we're doing the after party and it's like 2 a.m. I think we went to bed at like 3 by the time like we got back to our hotel and everything. And I'm like, am I going to like, I'm thinking about myself and I'm like, what am I going to fucking do? Come back home after the after party and put on some, like, put on my stripper outfit, my white, like, bridal, like, lingerie, and just, like, walk out of the bathroom and be like, do me? Like, no. Like, I know myself. Like, I didn't, like, when I was shopping for outfits, I'm like, I know this isn't going to happen. Like, did I bring it? Yes. Did I have it in my suitcase? Yes. Like, it was there. But just like, I don't know. I was thinking about that and I'm like, at that point of the night, I'm just like, I don't want to have to like put on something and like, you know, so I did not, if you're wondering, I didn't have like a full fucking Victoria's Secret Angel walkout for my husband. I mean, whatever. So anyways, but we came back to the room and I don't know who did it. I don't know how it happened, but there was rose petals. There was like beautiful like love decor and shit in our hotel room, which was amazing. And that was kind of like a special surprise. I don't know if Corey coordinated that. I don't know who did that, but it was there. And, you know, you see it in like, it's like a trail of rose petals and like pretty romantic things everywhere. So, excuse me, that was really special. Anyways, next day's the brunch. We're hungover. We get breakfast at the hotel and we're just like, holy shit, like, hi husband, hi wife. Like it was such a, I think when people ask me like, how does that feel? Like, how do you feel being a wife now? Or like, how does it feel having a husband? Or like, how does it feel being married? You know? And I just remember the morning we woke up after our wedding, and I've felt this way since I'm like, honestly, since we've been together, like the entire relationship has felt this way. And I always describe being with Corey like sitting in a recliner, like sitting on this couch I'm on right now. Like I just feel at peace. Like I feel this sense of comfort, this calm, like grounded energy. And the morning after our wedding was no different. Like the feeling I would describe was I just felt so peaceful and so like zen about it. And even now, like whenever we see each other, it's just like, I don't know how to explain it. It just feels so good to say it. And I know it's just a piece of paper, right? Like, it's just, you know, it's just the government getting involved and you could just be together. You don't have to get married, you know, but there's something symbolic obviously about it that's very like beautiful. And I think it just sets the tone and it's like this new chapter. And it's this, again, like a sense of peace and comfort that came over me. And I don't know how else to describe it. Like, obviously there's nothing different with us other than, you know, we're officially married husband and wife now, but it's just like, I don't know how to say it or describe it other than just like, it's almost like you like breathing. Have I tripped up on my words today yet? Hold on. It's almost like going, it was like an exhale. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, it just felt so good. So like, grounding, zen, comforting, peaceful. And people wondered like, so on the day of the wedding, they're like, are you nervous? Are you nervous? Are you nervous? Literally, I was saying up until the point I walked out and walked down the aisle the entire day, I was excited. I was so excited when I got to the altar. We didn't have an altar, but when I went up to the, you know, front of the audience with everyone watching. Audience is a weird thing to say about your friends and family. When I stood in front of my friends and family and got married to Corey, I had no nerves. I had no like anxiety. I wasn't nothing. I was just happy and excited and giddy. Like I think I was maybe I was too smiley as a bride or too, I don't know. But, I think Corey was a little nervous. Like he was kind of pacing a little bit before we walked down the aisle, but that's just how he is. I think he gets a little more, I don't know. But yeah, everything was just so like, relaxing and happy and great. And did I recap everything? Yeah, we did the brunch. The brunch was beautiful. Oh my God. Then we went to a bar. Oh my God. Then we didn't stop. So it was like, fuck it. We're already here. We're already partying. We're already, you know, so after the brunch, clearly this is the end of the episode, guys. We're coming into a close here. So we went to a Chiefs bar and watched the Chiefs game and kept drinking. And that was how we ended our wedding weekend, which is kind of awesome because I love football. We love football. Our friends love football. And it was just like, I think we had the 49ers on during the brunch. Like it was at the same time. And we were watching that. And then, yeah, we watched the Chiefs and it was just such a great weekend. And it's like, now it's like kind of exciting or not exciting. What's the word? Hold on. Let me like refocus my mind right now. There is this obvious weight off my shoulders and Corey's shoulders now where we're like, okay, like back to the grind. Like we're like, now that we don't have anything to plan wedding wise, we can kind of just get back to our normal routine and rhythm. So that's been really nice. And I think I have this like new energy about obviously my podcast and my, fall season and just like, but it's weird because my brain has been wedding, clouded with wedding stuff since we got engaged, because there was never a time where we weren't thinking about it or planning for it or, meeting with our wedding planner or checking out the venue or buying things for it. Or so it's kind of this weird, like, okay, well, now what do I do with my time? I mean, not really, like it's back to normal, but, yeah, I'm just like, the outfits. I didn't really get into the outfits, but I'm going to break down each look right now. And I think this will end up on my TikTok at some point. Like I'll do a green screen overlay of my outfits and, why I chose them or like whatever. So did I get everything on here? Hold on. Did I mention a spider crawled out of my like messy bun today? I planted a herb garden this morning instead of going to the gym. I don't know if you've ever eaten so much or have ever, eaten so much to the point where you wake up the next day and I'm sore from, I did my first lifting workout a couple of days ago. So I'm sore from that, but I feel like my body is sore from eating so much. And I literally woke up this morning. Corey's like, you want to go to the gym? I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm going to the gym today. I literally felt hungover from all that food and like physically sore from it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to move my body. I was like, maybe I'll go on a walk. Or I ended up kind of like tidying up the house and I planted a garden. I planted a little like fall vegetable garden. And I had to like move these huge bags of soil from under our deck. And I think when I was under the deck, like a spider jumped in my hair or something. But when I went to shower, I saw it in the corner of my eye and I was like, oh my God. It was like our super, like sometimes spiders are so black. It's like, this is the blackest shade of black I've ever seen. And it was one of those spiders. And I will regret this I will think about this for probably a month. I killed a spider with the bottom of a candle. And I just like hate doing that, but I was in fight or flight and I did it. And I hate killing spiders. Like I every time I do it, I'm like, why did I do that? But usually I put a cup over them and I save them. I bring them back outside. But anyways, yeah, back to the outfits. Jesus. So let's start with Thursday. I'll kind of do a quick recap here because I know this has been a long episode. So I said this, I think, during my wedding hot take episode, and I got, I went a little viral for saying this, but I was basically saying how bridal looks are starting to look kind of prom-y, kind of tacky, kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. Just like too like chintzy for a wedding, if that makes sense. Like I get, okay, everyone's on a budget and, I get it. Like people came for me because they're like, well, maybe that's all they can afford. Maybe all they can afford is Boohoo, which I get it. Right. But I was thinking like you can dress on a budget and still look like elegant, classy, like polished, timeless. And I feel like a lot of the bridal looks I've seen, and this is the whole point of me making that video or doing that segment, is that, yeah, I felt like the bridal looks I've been seeing, because I was planning my wedding. I was getting a lot of bridal content sent to me and I was coming across a lot of, bride to be accounts and whatnot. And it's just like, I don't know. I was just like, oh, like this is giving prom. It's giving like going out to the club, but you're going to your wedding. And anyway, so my whole idea for my wedding was to think outside of the box, to think outside of Pinterest, to think outside of what everyone else is doing. And I think I wouldn't say I like fully accomplished that, because I think you could say that a lot of the dresses I wore were like very on the nose, like bridal 2024, like, so I get that. I'm not claiming that I'm some like, individual who, or like some, I didn't like set a new trend with my bridal looks, if that makes sense. But, I started off, let's just like go through each one. So I know everything like to a T. or do I really want to do this right now? Or should I just make this a TikTok and go to my TikTok and like see my bridal look breakdown? I did wear, okay, so shit. My first look was a white vintage Dolce & Gabbana shift dress with Jimmy Choo strappy white heels and a Chanel bag. I need to shut the fuck up. Like, that's what I wore. Okay, that was my first look. My second look was a Simkai. I'm going to just do this on my TikTok. I wore like, these are the designers I wore. I wore Dolce & Gabbana, Simkai. My PJs were Sleeper. My rehearsal dinner dress was Jenny Yu. My shoes were either, oh, okay, wait, I'll just do my dresses. I did a Amanda Uprichard dress to get ready in, a Nadine Marabi after party dress, and then my brunch dress was another Dolce & Gabbana vintage shift dress. Excuse me. Shoes were either Jimmy Choo or Bagley Mishka or Jeffrey Campbell's. I did wear those for my Saturday night. And then bags are either Chanel. I did 2 Chanel's and then a Jacquemin. I'm not French. Like a hot pink one for the after party. But my only challenge, something that I wish I planned a little better, were my hair looks. Like I wish I practiced how to do my hair before the day of, because I did an updo on my rehearsal dinner night and it was kind of like falling apart. And my sister was like, "You're going to hate how these pictures turn out. Like, come in the bathroom with me and I'm going to fix this." But I had like 72 bobby pins in my hair. I was trying to like make it work. And that was the only thing. Like my hair looks were kind of a shit show, but I had to buy, like, I was so into like all of my looks, you know, but I had to buy like a separate rack. I bought separate hangers. I had like a whole display in my bedroom my office of like each bridal look. And I had them in order of like when I was going to wear them. And I had so much fun with it. I have to say, like, I'm so glad I took it serious and I like planned it and I didn't just like come up with stuff last minute. Like I really was thoughtful about each thing I wore and I wanted it to like be a certain vibe. Oh, I forgot. Oh my God. One of my favorite dresses I wore, was the rehearsal like walkthrough outfit. It was a vintage Halston. I think he's a designer from the 70s. Halston. I think they're still around, but it was kind of giving like Leia from Star Wars, or like a Greek like toga vibe, and super classy, like super everything I wore other than everything was like pretty covered up and classy other than my Nadine Marabi, which was a like sparkly. I wore the Nadine Marabi Louisa dress. Yeah, that's the one I wore. But we did have a situation with that outfit because my necklace I wanted to wear with it was still at the country club. And I just remember like, oh, damn it. I wish I kept it in this other bag. So that was the thing about the wedding. There are so many moving parts, so many bags, so many like accessories where I had to be so like, everything I packed, I was like, okay, this is starting at the beach house and then it's going to the country club. Or, okay, this is staying at the country club, or this bag's going with Corey to the hotel, or this is coming with, it was like so strategic how I had to plan everything. And that was the one hiccup with that. It was just a necklace, right? Like I didn't have to wear it. Like it was fine without it. But, yeah, the moving parts of all the little things was kind of like, it was like head Tetris or whatever. It was like mentally, like, my brain was getting scrambled. That's the thing. Up until the wedding, like the week of the wedding, I was just like, people are like, aren't you, any appointment I went to, or like anytime I was like, oh, my wedding's Saturday or whatever, they're like, are you just so tired? I'm like, yes, I'm depleted. I'm tired. I'm barely I haven't had a carb in 2 weeks. Like I was just like, ugh, like you do get kind of exhausted by all the little things, but then it's so worth it. And I think I'm so happy everything was like dialed in. so that I could really enjoy. Like once Thursday night hit and we did our like welcome thing, I was just enjoying myself. Like everything was stress-free really and already done. And that's how I wanted it. And I made sure of that by having like obviously the wedding planner and then just me being organized myself. But it's funny how many I got the Amazon deliveries the week of the wedding or like the week before were out of control. I had to buy like just like the littlest things. Like it's like you're like, you know, your wedding's in a week and you come across a TikTok that's like, you need chalk. Like, bitch, if this is your part of your emergency kit as a bride. If you don't have an emergency kit, like you need an emergency kit. So now I'm like, I don't have an emergency kit. So I'm like, okay, what goes in that? And they're like a sewing kit, scissors, tape, chalk for like touch-ups on your dress if you get a stain on it. And it's like, so then I fucking bought chalk. It was like Crayola chalk for like $2 on Amazon. Like that shows up at the house. And my friend, thank God, she texted me a picture before she came. She's like, I made you an emergency kit. So we ended up not using any of it. The only thing I had was like a touch-up bag for my lipstick and some powder. And I don't even think I maybe did that a couple times. But we didn't have any crazy like issues, but yeah, it's just so funny. Like all the little things that you have to like, you realize you need at the last minute. And then you're just like Amazon. And it's funny when people raise their eyebrows. I will say this, like people will like raise their eyebrows and they'll be like, you're doing too much, or like they don't get it. Like they'll be kind of judgy about like the level at which you're buying things or organizing things or planning things or like, but I think if you're a bride and you've been through this, you get it. 'Cause you're like, you can't just not have like the candle holder or whatever, or like every little detail matters. And I'm so glad that I took it seriously, because I never looked around at our wedding like, ooh, that's missing, or, oh, I wish I did that. Or, ooh, you know, that's the thing we did right, is we made sure all the little details were accounted for. And again, thank God for my wedding planner, because there was things she brought up where I was like, oh, I never thought of that, you know? So that's the wedding recap. That's the life update. I'm trying to think. This is what we talked about. So, you know, we're in a new era. I'm a wife. I'm still a podcast host, but I am a wife. And the show will go on. Nothing has really changed, but I feel like I have been kind of spinning like a top, and I haven't been conscious of my habits as much as I used to. Like I used to have periods of time where I was really like dialed in and on point. And I feel like I've been dialed in and on point about this goddamn wedding and my health and fitness and like that kind of stuff. So I've been really focused on that. And I've been kind of just like numbing out to social media and just like nonsense for so long, where now I'm like, okay, the wedding's over. That's off my back. Like it's, you know, okay, whatever. Like I can unfollow like the 50 wedding accounts I followed. Like I can, like, I want a fresh start now. And yeah, I'm ready to be more. How many times I've probably said this on my show though. I've probably had like a spiral about like feeling stupid, feeling like I have brain rot from the internet and wanting to like read books and like educate myself, blah, blah, blah. But I'm really taking it seriously now. And I have this whole other thing I'm doing. Did I even bring this up? I'm getting the fuck out of my house. Okay. So new segment. Hi, I'm no longer staying in my home. So let me just like do a little spiel on this before I end the show, because I think it's really important. I think it's really relatable. So let's get into it. This literally might be 15 minutes, but stay with me. But I feel like this is important to say. And I'm kind of pissed I didn't say this in the beginning to go along with what I was talking about earlier about being brainwashed by the patriarchy and centering men for my entire 20s and blah, 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 blah. So basically I had another realization that I have been, since obviously the pandemic, fully remote. So I was working in media relations, fully remote for 4 years, got fired from my job this May. Now I'm full-time social media podcast host, TikToker, the whole thing, right? And I had this realization that I have been isolated to my home and to, my work and my life is all at home. So I haven't, for example, some people that are in my situation go to coffee shops, they go to co-work spaces, they have an office elsewhere, and they get out of the house every day. Where in my case, I've embraced like, oh, it's so great. I can like live and work at home. Like amazing. But the issue with that is that, and I think this is the relatable part for a lot of women that are also in my situation. I had this realization that, and speaking of spinning like a top, that when I'm at home, I am easily distracted and I'm easily like, you can multitask, and women are so great at that, right? Like you're like, oh, I'll just like send this email and then like do the dishes and then like go back to my emails and then I'll make this piece of content and then I'll go fold some clothes and then I'll go run an errand. Then I'll go to the grocery store. I'll go back to my work. And then you're kind of always ping ponging between household tasks and career shit. And I had this fucking epiphany and I got like about it. Like I was like, girls, ladies, women, like basically what I'm saying is I'm at this point where the tasks, my time, the way I spend my time, like majority of my time needs to be on career advancing tasks, like podcast, social media, like career growth tasks, and not household tasks. As fun as it is to go to go to Home Goods and buy tchotchkes for the fall, like I got my pumpkin shit around me, I got my candles, and as fun as it is to go get my nails done at 2 p.m. or like fold laundry and watch The Real Housewives. I don't do that, but like I haven't watched reality TV in a minute. So it's like I like slap myself in the face and I'm like, these tasks, these housewife tasks, these chores, these like laborious daily tasks are sucking. They're not advancing me forward. They're just, and I know they need to get done, right? But I prioritize things so ass backwards and upside down to the point where I'm just like so used to it. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to like do this and do that and like do this for the podcast for like, an hour, and then I'm going to go back to the household stuff and take the dogs to the park, and I'm all over the place. So I had this epiphany. I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of this house. And I told Corey, and I'm like so like aggressive about it. And he's like, yes, like I've been saying this. He has been my biggest supporter in this. He's been telling me to do this for like a year. He's like, Jacqueline, I think your issue is you're just at home and you're getting distracted. And like, I think it's so nice that you do these things, but you're not, you don't need to be doing this right now. You have your whole life to be a housewife and just like, you don't need no, he's like, get out, like go work at a coffee shop, like get out of the house. So that's what I'm doing. I'm no longer, I'm changing my environment because I think that's been an issue for me. And I need to, it's taking my focus, it's splitting my focus between two things that are important, but one of them is like, I will regret just like doing the housewifey shit around the clock and kind of like half-assing my podcast. I know I'm already regretting it. I feel like that's what I've been up to for such a long time now, where I'm like, wait a minute. Like all I should be giving a shit right now is growing my show and growing my social media. And I can't do that if I'm at home because I know myself and I'm not disciplined enough to like tell the laundry to fuck off for 8 hours while I work on my show. Like I somehow crawl back to the chores and the tasks and the errands and the things. Cause when you're at home, like I'm a little OCD with my environment. Like if it's not clean, I can't work in it. Like I have to I cannot just like lock myself in my office knowing that like the bed isn't made or laundry needs to get done or there's dishes in the sink. Like I get anxiety about that. It's just how my brain works. And here's the thing. I'm all about like embracing who you are, not trying to be like, don't shame yourself for it. Like know that about yourself and then do something about it. So my latest thing is I'm getting the fuck out of this house. Cause Corey goes to an office all day. Like, I'm doing the same. Like I I don't technically work right now, but I work for myself and I need to take that seriously. And I am admitting, hi, internet, I think that I've been too comfortable and I haven't been thinking about it. And yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know. Is the show over? I'm getting like a hot flash. I'm literally so sweaty right now in this sweater dress. It's like, it's at the point in the day. I live in San Diego, if you didn't know, but it's the point in the day where the sun comes out, like the clouds break and then the sun comes through and it's like sweaty time. So, or it's like hot now. But yeah, I think women, like when your life is cushy, when you can stay at home and be a housewife and do all that kind of stuff. And you're like, I fucking love it. Like, I love it. This is the thing. Like, I don't do it and feel like, I have to do this. Like, I love it. I go on autopilot. I love taking care of our home. I love taking care of the dogs. And like, I love like my routine. And it's just so like, I feel so grateful and so lucky that I can do that, but it's not moving my career forward. It's not, I think a lot of women get caught up in that. And then like 5 years go by and they're like, that business I wanted to build, like never happened. Cause I was just like cleaning toilets all day. And that's bullshit. Like, I hate that. And I think it's good to have, this is something that I'm grateful for with Corey, is that he notices that and he's like, honey, like he knows my potential. He knows what I want for myself and my career, my podcast. And he's like, stop. Like, no, I'm not. No, like we clean the house together on Sundays, honey. Like, you don't need to do this all week long. Like, what are you doing? You know, he's been the best at like noticing what I do all day. And he's like, this is holding you back. Like, you're not using your time wisely for what you really want. And so I think that if a man is requiring you and is like relying on you to do that housework and do that housewifey shit all day but this is the bullshit thing. Like, men praise it. They go, oh, I love how my wife cooks and cleans for me. Oh, she's such a good wife. She's such a good woman. It's like, then women get their value from that. They feel good about themselves because they're like, oh, I'm such a good woman. I'm such a good wife. And I think it hits them later because they're like, I've been sacrificing all of this, or I've been sacrificing my dreams and what I want for myself to make a man more comfortable and to make our life more like pretty and like cute around the house and clean. Like, that doesn't get you anywhere. You're literally just spinning like a top. Unless you have, here's where I'm at though. If you've established yourself in your career, if you're in a point where you can kind of like get away with that and you're still making money for yourself and you're still growing your business while you're doing the housewifey stuff, awesome. But if you're not at that point yet, don't be like me. Don't realize that like after a while, I was just kind of like, what the fuck, you know? And it's funny because a producer reached out to me and I'm like, this should be happening every day. Like, I need to be hit up like all the time. I need to be networking. I need to be on meetings, on Zoom calls. Like, I'm at the point now where it's like, bitch, you've been doing this for 4 years. Like, get it together. And it's a little bit of a lesson. And I'm sitting here admitting it. And it's kind of like annoying because I wish I was more of the type, I don't know if it's because I'm not super type A, but where I wish I would have caught that a little earlier and was more disciplined. I think my issue is discipline, like being more cutthroat with myself and telling myself like, no, like it's not good for you to be at home all day and work all day at home and also like get distracted by a million other things at home because that's just taking time. Time is everything, right? And so I'm intentionally getting the fuck out of the house so that all the time, my time is just for my show and me and my social media and my career. And it's not for the house. Fuck the house. If you're a housewife, fuck your house. Go work on your career. If you haven't, like, if you want that for yourself, if you have a dream about that for yourself, don't get suckered into the hamster wheel of housework. It's bullshit. It can wait. The dishes can wait. Go work. Bitch, get out. But see, you get the thing about this day and age and the thing about being a woman in 2024 is you get suckered into these echo chambers of like the ballerina farms or like the Elena Cardone's of the world. Like I'm thinking of like Boss Babe, like Grant Cardone's wife, if you didn't know. And then like, so you're like, oh, like trad wife is in, but also like be a boss, you know, you're split. And then you realize like, okay, what's good for me? What do I want? And then like take pieces of both and I think apply it to your life. But I think it's easy to get suckered in where you're like, I'm just going to cook and clean and bake bread all day and feel good about that because, you know, women have been sold that they need to go to work and fuck that and fuck blah, blah, blah. And then it's like fuck the patriarchy and like and then it's like be your own boss or whatever and like make your own money. You don't rely on a man and that's where I'm at. I think at the end of the day, I don't care how much you can be taken care of by a man. I don't care how much a man provides for you or whatever. You got to have your own bag. Like you have to. It's just women that you never want to be in a situation where you're fully reliant on a man's checkbook for your, like, to survive. Like that's just, because shit happens. Like I'm saying that as a newly married woman, like I understand that shit happens. Like I'm not stupid. And I think that's kind of I don't know, just got to consider just protecting yourself and, you know, but again, it is so important to be, I can say exactly what I said to Corey and he would be like, fuck yeah, hell yeah. It's never like, you're being brainwashed. Women are like, he never like, pushes back on it. He accepts it and he agrees with it too. Cause he gets it. Like, I think some men are old timey in their mindset with women and they see them as like a tool or whatever for their life to just like make it easier. And it's just like bullshit. But yeah, I'm so grateful. And I think it's so important to be with a man who, when you say these things about what you want for yourself and your career, I think some men might hear it and go, oh, you mean I have to do my own laundry or like, or dumb example, but Corey gets it. So I can't, you know, I'm so grateful for that. And I can literally speak like this and he's just like, fuck yeah. He always is like, I've been saying this and I'm the type of person where it's like, I finally fucking come around, right? Like it takes, I'm a turtle. Like I have realizations and I figure things out kind of slow, even though it's like right there the whole time. Like it takes me a while to see it and then I take action and then I nip it in the ass. But he can't actually call me today because I don't know if you're a Verizon wireless member, but the grid is down. The SOS, what is it called? The cellular service. You can't make phone calls right now. So that's weird. I don't know what's happening, but yeah, it's lunchtime. He typically calls me right now and, you know, it's weird. The grid is down. All right. That's it. I'm like, you guys, you get the point. I got married. I got married. I wore a white dress. I had a great time. I'm a wife. Back to the podcast. But what I said earlier is so me coded, or it's like so how my brain works, where I'm constantly curious and aware of my bad habits and where my life is kind of sucking. And I talk about, and I'm very like open and just like honest on here about what I want to do to fix them. Now, again, it might take me forever. I might say, I'm going to start reading books and educating myself for the next 5 years and eventually I'll do it. Right. But at least I'm aware of it. I want to make a change. But again, I'm very serious when I say this. Like the internet has made me, I feel stupid. Like when stuff happens on the TV, when I see headlines, when I see like things online, I'm like, I don't even know. It's just, it comes and goes. And I'm like, you just kind of get like, what? Like, I don't know. Is it like focus on yourself? Like, and just like be in your own bubble and be ignorant and just like, don't overthink the fact that you don't know everything about the world and history and current events. Like, I just know myself. I think it's bad for my brain that I feel kind of like I just skate the surface about everything. And I don't have any, there's no depth to me in that way. Like there's no depth when it comes to my education. Like I can't really, and I think the only reason, this is the thing about me though, I don't like that about myself. Like it might not bother it might not bother you if you're that way. Like it might not bug you about yourself, but it kind of eats me up because I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing all day? It's like, you're just like consuming bullshit. And then you're just like, yeah, I feel gross about it. So hi, I'm a wife. I'm going back to college with myself, and I'm re-educating myself. And I mean, Corey and I last night were like watching football, and he's like, we used to read books. And I'm like, it's fine, honey. We're watching football. Like, it's fine. We don't need to be like hard on ourselves that we're not reading a book right now. Like, it's football season, but like, yeah, we could probably get back to our reading schedule. Like we used to read every night, like, you know, that kind of shit. But sometimes you just have to put a reset button on yourself and go, okay, discipline, do better, try harder. Okay, that's the podcast. Holy shit. I think that was over 2 hours, which is fine because I've been gone for a month and I feel like we got everything out about the wedding and what I've been up to. Fat bitch falls here. The one thing I will say, back to the losing weight thing, is that okay, obviously if you don't know, now this is now a 3-hour episode. I have had all kinds of eating shit and body shit and okay, whatever. We know that. We know this. If you've been around, you know this. But I stopped weighing myself. Like I met Corey and I like used to weigh myself regularly. I used to kind of know what's up, but I fully stopped. And we had a scale. He weighed himself all the time. He was always like telling me how much he weighs. I don't know. Like, is that a guy thing? They just don't give a fuck. Like, I feel like for me, it was always like, oh, I don't want to know. Or like, it's like I have a bad relationship with a scale and I'm like, you know, but I started weighing myself like literally probably once or twice a week. And I feel like just knowing the data is good and being aware of it. Cause I think that's how you creep up and you don't realize you creep up. And then that's how I probably gained 15 pounds with Corey. And then I realized I lost it because I was weighing myself, right? So for me, that was a positive thing I did, or it helped me be accountable, like know what's happening. But what did I say? Oh, fat bitch falls here. 7 pieces of pizza and I slabbed like a brick. I probably had like a 3-inch thick slice of our wedding cake after those 7 pieces of pizza. And it's not a scale week. Like it's just not. It's a drink your water, exercise, and just get back to normal. But I feel like a bag of shit. And this is why I eat healthy. Like it's because I don't feel good when I eat. Like, what did I say? Trent Williams? Like I was like, I fucking feel like an offensive lineman. Anyways, that's the episode. Thanks so much for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed this. Please, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening right now. I'm on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Breaker, Overcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. Please hit that subscribe button and don't forget to review the show 5 stars while you're there. Follow me on TikTok at Jacqueline Monroe and YouTube, The Jacqueline Monroe Show. Instagram, Jacqueline Monroe. All the places, Jacqueline Monroe. That's it. Hope you're having a great fall so far and living it up. Hope your teams are winning. Go Seahawks. They're playing tonight. Woo-woo. Playing in Detroit. 3-0. No big deal. Same record as the Chiefs. Actually, are the Chiefs 4-0 now? All I know is we're undefeated right now. So go Seahawks. I hope your teams are doing well. That's it. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye. I'll do what it takes. I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll play it on your face to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit. I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you go wish you would shut the fuck up real bad. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. I don't fucking take smoke, I'ma poke a hole through you, choking's overdue. Come at me and you won't get any older, dude. Crack your holder too. Heating up inside of me, blood so violently. Thanks for trying me. Now it's finally time to see how this rivalry becomes a dynasty.